Today we come to the next in our series in joy, and today we're looking at the joy of progress in the lives of other Christians. One of the things that should give us the greatest joy is yes, our walk with God and our fellowship with God by His grace and His mercy, but one of the things that shows the greatest joy is to see other Christians making progress in their Christian life. And this is what we see in a tremendous chapter in Acts chapter 11, because Acts chapter 11 is the first non-Jew, what we call Gentile church that is planted, and it's planted not by the apostles, it's planted by those whom God raised up to go to Antioch. Antioch is in Acts chapter 11. And there's two Antiochs, but the one in Acts chapter 11 is Antioch in Syria, just to the north of Israel, immediately north, Lebanon and Syria, and this is where the gospel first spread to a non-Jewish city, which is recorded in the book of the Acts. And of course Barnabas, who originally was from Cyprus, he is sent when this is heard by the Christians in Jerusalem, which is where the early church started. They send Barnabas. Of course there are missionaries, evangelists who had gone from the island of Cyprus to Antioch in Syria, and so there was immediate connection between Barnabas and those that originally went to spread the Bible and spread the gospel. It says that they spoke to the Jews, the Jews first, and then eventually went to the Gentiles, and the Gentiles got saved. Gentiles, person who's not a Jew. And so Barnabas is sent with his connection, and he's sent to Antioch. In Acts chapter 11 verse 24 says, when he came, he saw the grace of God and was glad. I think that says a lot about Barnabas. It says that he was glad to see the gospel spread, the Christians growing in their faith, and instead of jealousy and rivalry, instead we see the complete opposite. We see a spiritual man. We see one who is filled with joy and gladness at this very fact. And so we see that when he got there, it says he was glad and exalted them all and encouraged them all that with purpose of heart they should cleave to the Lord. And this was a great thing for Barnabas to do, because what this shows is that Barnabas rejoiced in the right thing. He rejoiced in seeing Christ lived out in the life of other Christians, and this brought him so much joy. What I like about Acts chapter 11 verse 24 is that they encouraged them all, and that's something that all Christians need. Even though these Christians were doing well, they still needed encouragement, and Barnabas could see that, and so he's able to encourage them, and he encourages every single one of them. And then he goes out of his way, goes back to Tarsus to get Saul, and the two of them together teach for a whole year in Antioch. And of course it's in this chapter that we get the first term Christian. Disciples were called first Christians at Antioch. This was a title that people that weren't Christians give to them. The word means Christ wants followers of Christ, and so this was the title that was given to them, and that's the title that everyone who's repentant of their sin and put their faith in Christ has that with them, and they've got to live up to that name. They've got to act like Christ and live like Christ. But it's just wonderful in Acts chapter 11 to see how Barnabas' joy is rooted not in himself, it's rooted in the growth and progress of these Christians. And this runs right through the New Testament. And we read in 3 John verse 4, I have no greater joy than to see my children walk in the truth. This is what gave John his greatest joy, was to see those walking in the truth. And Paul was the same with the Thessalonians. It says in 1 Thessalonians 3, now we live if you stand fast in the Lord. And Paul, Silas and Timothy speak about the joy that they had before God because of them all, for their sakes. And this of course motivated him to pray even more fervently for the Thessalonians. And that should be the Christian's joy. The Christian's joy should be in Christ. But the Christian's joy should be in seeing the progress of others and seeing the truth of the gospel being spread. And also for our lives becoming more like Christ. This is what we need the encouragement to do. And so I hope you've enjoyed looking at joy in the progress of others.